Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a little August wrap up / September TBR because we are already at October 7th? September 7th. You can tell where my brain is going. Straight into fall. But in August, I really got back into reading after finishing the ACOTAR series because I'm the kind of girly who, if I am in a series, I want to know it all, especially if the books are all available. I need to finish. So June and July were all ACOTAR. So August, I wanted to read some of the summer reads that I had kind of missed out on throughout the summer. Get into some romance, just kind of cleanse the palate a little bit before I get back into some more fantasy, which you'll see in my September TBR. But I had a great time. I read a ton, and then I actually found my kids' old Kindle Fires. I know this isn't like the typical Kindle reader that all the bookish girlies are using, and I have no cuteness on it yet. But it was free to me because we already had it. I think eventually I will want the Paperwhite, but for now, budget-wise, we are saving for a car. My son has to get his braces put back on in a couple months, so I need to chill, you know, and just use what I got. So this little Kindle Fire has been part of my reading plan, and then we also have an Audible subscription, so I did a couple books on audio. So I'm going to review all the books that I have for August and then show you what I'm going to be reading in September. A few of them I've already started and I'm super pumped. So let's do August first. Summer reads. Here is some of what I did in August, and then I had an Audible, some Kindle reads, and all that good stuff. So first, and then this one wasn't even if you watched my August TBR. Some of these books weren't on there because as the summer was going and as I was chomping through these books, it's like I have time to read more, so I did. So I'm going to start with one that wasn't on my original TBR, but that is Finlay, Donovan is Killing It. So this is a fun book that I had actually purchased for a friend of mine for her birthday. She finished it, loved it, and I was like, I haven't read it yet, but I've heard it's good, and so she's like, you have to read it. So she let me borrow it, and I actually listened to this one on Audible, as well as kind of reading the physical copy, and it is so good. Let me read the thing. Finlay Donovan is killing it, except she's really not. As a stressed out single mom of two and struggling novelist, Finlay finds her life in chaos. When Finlay is overheard discussing the plot of her new suspense novel with her agent over lunch, she's mistaken for a contract killer and inadvertently accepts an offer to dispose of a problem husband. Finlay soon discovers that crime in real life is a lot more difficult than its fictional counterpart, and she becomes tangled in a murder investigation, fast-paced, deliciously witty, wholehearted, authentic, and depicting the frustrations and triumphs of motherhood. Finlay Donovan is Killing It is the first in the brilliant series from award-winning author Elle Cosimano. I don't know how to pronounce your name, I'm so sorry. You'll probably never see my video and know, but this book was so good. I will definitely be picking up the rest of this series, and it was so good because the end of it like finished in fall, and this was one of my last reads in August, so it was like, it was perfect. It finished right where I'm at right now, feeling the fall vibes, so I definitely will be picking up the rest of this. It was so cute. I mean, how can you make becoming a contract killer cute? But she did. This book was fun. It really like depicted motherhood so perfectly. Like, let me read you the first line, which I'm sure you've already heard because this book has been popular forever. It's a widely known fact that most moms are ready to kill someone by 8:30 a.m. on any given morning. On this particular morning, a Tuesday, October 8th, I was ready by 7:45. So it's just so cute. You hear all the fun things about motherhood, being a novelist, being a contract killer. You get some little love, very closed door love. The romance is not the big deal at all. It's the rest of it. So it's such a good book. Highly, highly, highly recommend. So one of the other books I read that obviously was very summery, One Italian Summer. This one is about a woman who loses her mom. Her name is Katie, but her mom and her had planned a trip to Italy, and then her mom got really, really sick and ended up passing away. So the girl takes the trip anyway and is then faced with her mother 30 years prior. Like, she stumbles upon her mom on this same trip when she was in her 30s or younger 20s, I don't know. So it has a little bit of magic in it. And then there's some love. I don't know. This was like a 3-star for me. I forgot to say, this was definitely a 5-star for me. This was like a 3-star for me. I didn't love our main character. To be honest with you, I felt like I just didn't love her. She would not be my favorite person, but I loved Italy. The way they described Italy, the food, the hotel that she stayed at, all these things, that part I loved. So it was worth reading. I finished it, obviously, but it wasn't my favorite. The magic behind how she met her mom 30 years in the past never came for us to know. Like, she flew into a time warp or something. I don't know, but that was just really weird and unexplained, and I don't know. If it's the only book and you're on vacation, it's either read this or read nothing at all. I mean, it's worth it. Italy sounds fantastic, and I definitely want to plan a vacation there, but it wasn't my favorite book. So that's okay though. And then I was introduced to Emily Henry. So Emily Henry, girlfriend, you will have the rest of my money because I need the rest of the books she writes because these were so good. So first of all, we have Beach Read. So Beach Read is adorable. Although I don't know how it was a beach read because it seemed like they were by a lake. So whatever. Not mad at it. So it's Augustus Everett, which, if you know, you know. Augustus Everett is an acclaimed author of literary fiction. January Andrews writes best-selling romance. When she pens a happily ever after, he kills off his entire cast. So he's grumpy, cynical. She is happy and optimistic, and they write 2 totally different genres, and then they find themselves both in a writing slump and challenge each other to write each other's the opposite genre. Like, she starts writing more serious fiction and he is to write some romance, but you find out that they were college rivals. But oh, I don't want to ruin it, but the romance in it is so good, and I literally like cried. I laughed. I loved Augustus Everett. Like, he was such a cute little grump, and I just loved it. And I loved it. Definitely read Beach Read. Save it for next summer if you haven't read it, because it's definitely obviously like a summery vibe, but so cute. And then Happy Place. This one is another Emily Henry, and like I said, I need all the rest of hers. Beach Read was 5-star. This is 5-star. And this is about a friend group who always takes this trip together, I believe to Maine, and 2 of the characters had been a couple and had been engaged, and they had broken up, and they hadn't told their friend group, but they didn't want to ruin this trip, so they pretend they're still together, and obviously in the pretending they remember why they love each other so much, and it's so cute, and I just love it. But most of all, I loved the friend group. I loved the found family. I loved the way they spurred each other on. They also challenged each other. Like, it was just such a good read. Love this book. Definitely picking up all the rest of Emily Henry's books. Then I listened to, and I'll post a picture, the Ballad of Songbirds. Oh, what's it called? The next Hunger Games book. What is it? The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes? You'll see a picture right here with the right title, okay? So I read the Hunger Games series years ago, whenever it first came out. Loved the movies, loved the books, and honestly, I have been so out of the book world for so many years, and now coming back in, I didn't realize we were getting a whole nother installment and another movie. So when I saw the movie trailer, when I took Aubrey to go see The Haunted Mansion, I was like, say less. I need to read this book. We're gonna come see the movie. In fact, we're about to do a Hunger Games rewatch, I think tonight, because we have no Wi-Fi, so we have to use DVDs. We're waiting for the Wi-Fi guy to come, so if this video ends abruptly, it's because he showed up. But anyway, listen to the book. It is so good. Cornelius, however you say his name, Cornelius, I can't say it. I listened to it on Audible for a reason. Is the President Snow. He's the young President Snow. We watch him slowly become more of a villain in this story, but he's like one of those villains you love to hate. Like, if you ever watched One Tree Hill, Scott, gosh, their dad, Nathan and Luke's dad, Scott, what's their last name? Why can't I think of their last name? Anyways, the dad, he was a villain I love to hate because you would see moments of humanity in him, but overall he was just so freaking evil that you hated him. But then it was like, oh, maybe he's gonna turn good, but he doesn't. And that is exactly how President Snow was. The story was so good, it kept me on my toes. The first maybe like, I don't know, 8 chapters, because since I was listening to it I couldn't really tell lengthwise, were a little bit slower, they're a little bit boring. But then once like the games get going and everything that ensues after the games, so good, leaves you like what. So good. I'm definitely gonna be seeing the movie because I think it's gonna be fantastic. What books did I read on Kindle in August? I didn't find the Kindle until the end of August, so I don't think I read any, to be honest, but I have some for September, so I will be telling you that in just a minute. And then I also did start this in August and then finished it. It's the first book that I've ever tabbed. So this is the second installment of the Cider Shop mystery. This is called Pulp Fricton. So this one is set in summer, so I wanted to read it as the end of my summer book. This follows Winnie, and I can't decide if it's Smythe or Smith. It's S-M-Y-T-H-E. So it's Winnie and her grandma, and they're the cutest stinking things ever. So in Apple Cider Slang, which I read in the fall and winter last year, she is trying to help her granny save the orchard, and in this one they have saved the orchard and she is starting like a rental business. So she's renting out the cider shop and the barn to do weddings and stuff, and somebody is murdered at the wedding, and then they've got to figure it out and also try to save the cider shop again because now there's been 2 murders on their property. So it's so good. Granny gets a really fun friend in this one that I loved. The romance from the first book kind of spices up a little bit more. Not spicy at all. So calm, so PG, so wholesome, but it like amps up. You see that possibly the romance is going to happen. There is a 3rd book. I'm going to be getting it because that one is set in fall, where the first one was more in winter, Christmas time. The 3rd book is in fall, so I'm definitely going to be getting it and either reading it in September or in October. But so good, and I love that these have little recipes in them. So I'm actually going to do a fun vlog. I feel like making the recipes in the back of the book because I did that with the other one, and that was a really fun vlog to film. So more on this book to come. But that was the other one I finished in August. This was on my August TBR, but I never did get to it. So this book is The Lineage of Grace by Francine Rivers, and it follows the stories of Tamar, Rahab, Ruth, Bathsheba, and Mary. I'm actually reading this as a book club as part of my church, and I thought we were meeting in August. We weren't. We're meeting in September. So this is going to be part of my September TBR because when I found out we weren't meeting, honestly, I gobbled up the Finlay Donovan one instead. So now I need to read this guy as part of my September TBR. So this will start off what I'm going to be reading in September. Lineage of Grace by Francine Rivers. I really like Francine Rivers. This book in particular, she is reimagining our heroines of the Bible that we have heard about forever and telling us a little bit more about their story. So I really like that. I have already started listening to The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo on Libby. So I actually got the Libby app with a library card, and I borrowed this Audible and this Audible. I'll be getting to that. And I like have 2 weeks left of both of them because I borrowed them a little bit too early. So I need to like hurry up and listen to this one. I will say I don't know if I was in the right mindset to start this book yesterday. And I kind of wanted to have the physical copy in front of me, and I started it on my break, and it starts off with like news headlines and like vlogs and stuff, and it was a little confusing in the Audible. So I'm definitely going to keep the physical copy in hand as I'm listening to it to really like get into it. But I've heard great things about this. It's a reclusive Hollywood icon. Evelyn Hugo is finally ready to tell the truth about her glamorous and scandalous life. But when she chooses unknown magazine reporter Monique Grant to write her story, no one is more astounded than Monique herself. Determined to use this opportunity to jumpstart her career, Monique listens in fascination, from making her way to Los Angeles in the 50s to leaving show business in the 80s, and of course the 7 husbands along the way. Evelyn unspools the tale of ruthless ambition, unexpected friendship, and great forbidden love. But as Evelyn's story nears its conclusion, it becomes clear that her life intersects with Monique's own tragic and irreversible ways. Ooh, okay, so this is my first Taylor Jenkins Reid book. So I'm pretty excited about that because I have a few others of hers that I have in mind, but I've heard such great things about this. I wanted to start with this one to see if I even like her writing. So I'm pretty pumped about it, and again, I'm going to be listening to this and reading the physical copy. Then also in September, I want to read The Hawthorne Legacy. This is the second installment in the Inheritance Games. I read the Inheritance Games in January or February and loved it. It is a YA mystery about a young girl who inherits billions as long as she can live in the same house with the grandsons and the family of the billionaire who left her the money. And you're kind of figuring out, like, why didn't he leave it to them? So it was really good. I've heard it compared to like a Knives Out type mystery where you're like, what the heck is happening? So I really liked it. I can't wait to read the second one. I don't know why I've waited so long, honestly. And then there's another one of these coming out, I think in September or October. So like, I need to get on my game. So I really want to finish this one. I did get this one on Audible as well, so I feel like I'll be able to quickly get through this. But I'm excited. Overnight, Avery Grahams went from sleeping in her car to billionaire heiress, now ensconced in the world of opulence, riddles, danger, and family secrets. Avery is on the hunt for one person who might hold the answers to all her questions, including why eccentric billionaire Tobias Hawthorne left his entire fortune to Avery, a virtual stranger, instead of his daughters and 4 grandsons. Grace and Jameson Hawthorne pull Avery in different directions as she works through puzzle after puzzle. I forgot about that. I forgot that 2 of the brothers were kind of a, who is she gonna pick? So yay. Okay, I'm so excited about that. And then, I mean, both of these are gonna have their sequels coming out in the next couple months, and all I have been hearing about is these 2 books. So I had to get them. And I have to read them this month. I have to. So I actually started Divine Rivals last night. I mean, if you haven't heard about this book, I feel like you're sleeping under a rock. So I'm super excited to read this one. So far, I'm like, what am I? 20 pages in, and I'm already here for it. After centuries of sleep, the gods are warring again, but 18-year-old Iris Munro just wants to hold her family together. Her mother is suffering from addiction, and her brother is missing from the front lines. Her best bet is to win the columnist promotion at the Oath Gazette. To combat her worries, Iris writes letters to her brother and slips them beneath her wardrobe, where they vanish into the hands of Roman Kit, her cold, handsome rival at the paper. When he anonymously writes Iris back, the 2 of them forge a connection that will follow Iris all the way to the front lines of battle for her brother. The fate of mankind and love. Divine Rivals is an epic enemies to lovers fantasy novel filled with hope and heartbreak and unparalleled power of love. And can I say, enemies to lovers is one of my favorite tropes of all freaking time. Oh, I'm so excited to read this. Everyone who reads this, and I see them on Bookstagram, Book Talk, or BookTube, cries at the end, and I've avoided most videos that include this because I want to know why everyone's crying, and I'm so excited. Like I said, I started last night, read 20 pages, and I was quickly falling asleep because it was way past my bedtime, but I was like, I have to read this because it just came in the mail. So, Divine Rivals in September. And then, along with that same theme, because everyone's reading it and everyone's obsessed, Fourth Wing. I have to read Fourth Wing, or I just don't even feel like I'm doing myself any justice. 20-year-old Violet Sorrengail was supposed to enter the scribe quadrant, living quiet life among books and history. Now the commanding general, also known as her tough as Talon's mother, has ordered Violet to join the hundreds of cadets striving to become the elite of Navarre. Ooh, I just went to Navarre Beach. Dragon riders. And when you're smaller than everyone else and your body brittle, death is only a heartbeat away, because dragons don't bond to fragile humans. They incinerate them. So, Like I said, you've probably heard a ton about this, but this is another fantasy. People are comparing it to like the ACOTAR series where you just get sucked in. I know there's an enemies to lovers in here as well. So I'm here for it, and dragons and all the fun things. So I am so pumped to read this. I'm gonna let this be towards the end of the month because I believe the second one of this comes out at the end of the month. So I want to be able to read it, finish it, and have the second one in hand so I can start right away, because that's what everyone is saying, is that as soon as it ends they are like messed up. So I want to have the second one in hand, and I believe the second one of this comes out in October, and everyone's crying, but it doesn't seem as desperate. Where this one, it felt like everyone's desperate for the second book, so we're gonna do that. And then if I have any time left, these might wait till October. These might be part of my October reads, so you might see them again. But I did purchase the X-Hex and the Kiss Curse. I can't remember which one's first. I think the X-Hex is first. I purchased these off Pango from another little booktuber on here, Bookish Gem. Her name is Jordan, and so she had these posted. I remember her talking about them last year, and so I wanted them. So these will most likely make it into October, but if for some reason I get through all these books, they will be part of my September reading going into October, so I'm pretty excited about these. I think they're just cute little rom-coms about a witch. So I'm not going to talk too much because I'm assuming they're going to end up in my October TBR. And then let me tell you right now, I read Flawless by Elise Silver. I read this in 1.5 days because I was literally obsessed. I'm trying to find the stinking cover of it. I'll just post it right here. I got Kindle Unlimited. I got a 2-month trial of it, so I am going to be eating up books, but I have a feeling I'm gonna just be a subscriber to Kindle Unlimited because it's actually been really convenient to read on the Kindle at work, because sometimes I'm slower and I have the Kindle app on my phone and I'm able to just read a little bit while I'm being slow, or well, it's slow. So I finished Flawless in such a short amount of time because I was able to, like, we went to, what did we do? We've done a few things where we're standing in line or it was quiet, and just on my Kindle phone app I was able to brush through the book. So I'm really enjoying Kindle so far. Like I said, I probably will end up getting a Paperwhite, but right now I don't care. It's working out. But the Flawless series or the Chestnut Springs series is going to be the death of me. I could feel it. These cowboy brothers. Okay, I don't know why it cut me off. I might be out of room, so I need to finish this up. But the Flawless series, or the Chestnut Springs series, is definitely going to be, I don't know if I'm going to get to it in September. I'm so glad I started it because I am hooked. Cade is the next book, and he's the grumpy single dad brother, so I feel like that's going to be really fun to see someone come into his life that just lights up his world. And I just gotta say, I love love. I love love. So Flawless, 5 stars for me. There's bad language, very open door sex scenes, like maybe 3 of them, but the story outweighs the sex scenes, so I feel like I didn't mind as much. Like, as, I don't know, I mean, judge me if you want to. I don't mind. It's fine. You can. I don't mind like more intimate scenes if it's like actual intimacy, not just like they're banging each other, you know? Like, if I feel like they love each other, I'm like kind of okay and I can skim through real quick and like avoid it. And as long as the story and the love and the romance outweigh those scenes, I'm fine. And I feel like it did a good job of that. And I was just rooting for them. I cried. I literally gasped out loud, like at one of the scenes. And if you read it, you know which one. Oh my gosh, it was so good. It was so good. I am here for the cowboy romance era. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Yellowstone is one of my favorite shows, and it very much mirrored Yellowstone in the fact of like language, sex, adult content type stuff. So if Yellowstone is not your vibe, this series probably will not be your vibe. But me, this girl, give me more. Give me more. So I'm in my cowboy romance fantasy mystery thriller season. Actually, if you have some like dark academia and like not gory thrillers, nothing like demonic or anything like that, but like some really good like psychological thrillers, leave them below, because that's kind of where I want to go in October. I'm not really like the spooky reads kind of girl. Like, I probably will read some witchy books, and I'm thinking of reading Crave, that series, because it's like vampires in October. But I'm really wanting to get some like thrillers, like jump scare, you know. I feel like when it gets gloomy out, why not scare the pants off yourself, you know? So leave all those recommendations below. If you've read any of these books, let me know what you thought. I hope you had the best summer, and girls, it's here. It's September, and we can officially start dreaming of cooler weather, pumpkin spice everything, leaves falling, cozy reads, cozy blankets, cozy sweatshirts. I mean, it's still 95 for me today, but this girl is dreaming. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy. My time of year is here. That rhymed. Okay, if you guys want more of these kinds of videos, let me know. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you spent your time with me. Like, subscribe, join my tribe, and we'll see you in our next video. Bye, guys.